Folks, we have the UEFA Champions League semifinals underway, and we have not previewed it yet because I wanted to wait until the Deadball TV boys were in attendance. I'd love to know where you guys stand on these two matchups, Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund versus PSG. I mean, we can go in depth or we can just say on the surface who we have winning. I don't know how y'all want to approach this, but you know what? I'm going to pick one of you to start. It's going to be Connor.
All right. Let's start with Dortmund PSG first because, I mean, when we get to the other side of the table, I don't have a lot to say. Dortmund and PSG have looked probably more competent than I think I've ever seen them. Ironically enough, you know, they've just lost Messi and Neymar, and I mean, they don't even have Di Maria, right? I was a huge PSG guy when Ibrahimovic and Cavani were there.
Verratti,
Matuidi.
Yeah.
My God, it was gorgeous. I love that on. Oh, Thiago Silva. That was like my FIFA main. Anytime anybody busted out the big guns, I was like, cool, PSG, let's go. I don't see a way, and I got a couple buddies that are Dortmund fans, and I love Dortmund. I like them. I don't see a way that Dortmund makes it out. I don't see a way that they don't make it out of there, battered and bruised. They've got a really lovely low block that they implement from time to time, but I just don't think that their attacking power is going to hold up against PSG. I don't think they got the juice.
Yeah, I'll add on there and say that I will be blown away if Dortmund make the final. And I actually think what's happened with Dortmund in this UCL campaign is very Dortmund-esque. I think they're kind of like I'm a Spurs fan, for anybody who doesn't know. And I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Dortmund and Spurs. The only difference is like Dortmund actually like have won a couple trophies recently. But I feel like Dortmund love to get close, and they love to get agonizingly close. And they're very capable. We've seen this in other seasons where they do pull off an upset. We can talk about the Atleti game if you want. I'm not sure.
Careful.
Come on now. Like,
it's going south.
I feel like Atleti were probably favored in that fixture. Would you agree?
I did favor them, but not by much.
Okay. So
not by
maybe
much.
like a little slight upset. But the fact that they're in a Champions League semifinal, I feel like is overachieving. I don't know how many people had them this far. Now they're coming up against a very informed team. I agree. This kind of new look PSG with a much more revitalized, a lot of young guys in this squad. They look good. Look like they're firing on all cylinders. They've looked great against Barcelona.
When they were up a man.
Yeah, when they
I'll bring
true.
that up. They looked great
true.
when they were up a man, but when they weren't, I thought Barca outplayed them.
Barca has some really nice, beautiful play. They're slowly eking back into that realm.
Had a couple close calls. In that even when they were down a man. I mean, that Rafinha missed it. Like,
Rafinha remembered how to play football.
Yeah, that's the best.
Good.
Yeah. Brazil needs that. We'll get in the Copa later.
So then you're going PSG.
Yes, and I think they'll win by 2 goals.
Okay, Salts?
Yeah, just to slightly play devil's advocate, the only way I can see Dortmund doing a good job against PSG is actually going to be their offense.
Yeah.
I think Füllkrug, obviously a classic number 9, he can get big, he can get very effective in the box. And then Jadon Sancho's been good. He's been good since he returned back to Dortmund. Yep. If Daniel Malen is healthy, I just don't know if he is. I don't think he will. I think that would be such a huge impact because he's so good off of the dribble penetration. I wish he was healthy just so we could see a full front 3 of Dortmund. But then Julian Brandt too. Honestly, out of all the creative midfielders out there, I love Julian Brandt, and I rate him so highly. And he can do a lot, even against this PSG defense. I won't be surprised if Dortmund get a couple goals here over the course of 2 legs. My problem with Dortmund is there is no way that they'll be able to contain PSG's offense. Yeah. There is no way. They let in way too many goals against Atletico, and Atletico's offense was shit in both games. They got way too nervous in that first leg, and in the second leg, there were some really bad mistakes from Dortmund. So that's going to continue, especially when you have Dembele and Mbappe running at you. They're going to leak goals like crazy. So there's just no way that Dortmund will be able to manage PSG's offense. So if their defense was better, I'd give them a much louder shout here. But I just can't. It's got to be PSG to win this one.
Yeah, I think there's a factor also of PSG hosting the second match. at home, now needing a result. I think they'll be able to get a really good result over in Dortmund. As long as they get a tie, I think they're good to go. Offensively, I think the Mbappe effect, which hasn't been mentioned yet, will come into play, pursuing that Ballon d'Or. And, the fact that he was kind of kept quiet ultimately against Barcelona, I don't think that happens again against a weaker defense by far in Dortmund, who, like you said, struggled to contain Atletico's mediocre offense ultimately. I think it's going to show, but I do think it's kind of wild that all four of us are going PSG on this one, because time and time again this whole season I've doubted Dortmund at every single corner, and they've proven me wrong.
Have you not doubted PSG? Because I've personally doubted PSG for a long time as well.
Yeah, I did. I thought their midfield was way too inexperienced, especially when they started Vitinha and Zaire Emery. I was like, these guys are like below 22, 17 years old. Ugarte as well. I just didn't think that was the midfield experience needed to win a UEFA Champions League. But in that sense, they have, in a way, proven me somewhat wrong.
But Barca would have won.
Yeah, exactly.
Barca would have
That's what I'm
won.
saying, just somewhat.
PSG, they're lucky to be here,
I do
just
think
like Dortmund
Vitinha has been playing really well, though.
Oh, no, he's been immense.
Vitinha's been good.
Yeah, I think he superseded what I thought he could do. But the rest, I do think, showed in the Barcelona matchup that they aren't up to that level. So, yes, I've doubted them for sure.
You'd give PSG the managerial edge as well.
You have to.
Against Terzic?
Yeah.
Surely.
I think you definitely would. For me, Terzic, he has to go all out against PSG, but that gets really tricky because if you do, then you're going to be so exposed. And considering that they let in so many goals against Atletico, I just think I'm really curious to see what Terzic does in this. Does he go with the defensive scheme? But he shouldn't, because the first leg is in Dortmund. He should take advantage of that and go as offensive as he can, because Dortmund's best chance of winning this tie is going to be in the first 45 minutes in Dortmund.
But I don't even, fellas, the managers to me don't even factor into it because of the Mbappe effect. Like, he's played so much better against better opponents. Like, this is coming from an Argentine. I don't like Mbappe. He is the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world, and he's capable of phenomenal things. And I think this is going to be the start. This is it.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, like, one of, I hate to call this man out by name, but Schlotterbeck for Dortmund, I just feel like he's going to get cooked. I've seen this guy get shredded like cheese way too many times, especially when he plays against very aggressive wingers like Dembele and Mbappe are. I just think he's going to have a long 180 minutes in this fixture. I really do.
I completely agree. Also, the fullbacks for Dortmund are not defensive. They're very offensive minded. Maatsen and Ryerson, they're great going forward. It makes Dortmund a fun team. But when you have to track back for 180 minutes, Dembele and Mbappe, they're done. There's absolutely no way they contain them that well. So yeah, I agree.
Dortmund are winning now. So.
That's what I'm really scared about, bro. Like,
Dortmund 3-0 at home.
It's 4 guys predicting PSG. This is what happens. But what do you have to say to the people in the comments that are like, you guys are doubting Dortmund? What would you guys say in response?
I would say it's justified.
Yeah?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, dude, this happens with a lot of different fan bases I don't understand. I'm going to highlight the Jamaicans here. Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
Because
rip it.
I told you, I have several ongoing wars with several fan bases, and the Jamaicans are one of those. Yeah. And it's because I doubt Jamaica because of what has happened in the past. Yeah. It's not because I have anything against the Caribbean islands. It's because Jamaica have time and time again failed. And they've time and time again disappointed, and they've underachieved. In Dortmund, yes, they're the second team in the Bundesliga, but they've choked titles away. They've choked opportunities to win silverware away. They've always shown a softer underbelly than Bayern Munich, who, when the heat gets turned up, usually this season, not really outside of the Champions League, that's when they perform the best. Whereas Dortmund, the pressure, it doesn't make diamonds, it breaks them up. So I would say we're not like Dortmund haters. It's just we've observed a behavior for so long, and you want us to bet against that? It's like actions speak louder than words type thing. And the actions of Dortmund over the past few years is they kind of bottle it.
Oh, absolutely, dude. If in that first leg in Spain against Atletico, the quarterfinals, Dortmund crumbled. Yeah. Crumbled in those first 30 minutes. A better team than Atletico would have scored 4 or 5. But Atletico only got 2, and that's why Dortmund were able to stay in the match and ultimately beat them in the second leg. But if they crumble in the same way against PSG, the game's gone in the first 60 minutes.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, Barcola, Dembele was great in the Barcelona matchup. Really surprising.
Dude,
The
yeah.
offensive weapons are there. Nuno Mendes was great. Hakimi might be back as well. I think PSG sees a golden opportunity here to get to that final that they've been thirsting for so long. I think they're going to take it. I think they'll take it because, I mean, to get drawn against Dortmund in the semifinal, that is ultimately a gift in the grand scheme of the Champions League. When you look at the other side and you have two big historic clubs going at it, PSG cannot blow this because if they do end up losing in this matchup, I mean, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm pissed off because I'm so confident in them beating them. But then once again, the Dortmund effect comes into play where they prove us wrong once again. So I don't want them to. I think I would consider it a choke job if PSG does end up losing this matchup.
Oh, without a doubt.
They're the better team, and we all have them going through.
I'm just ready for the Der Klassiker in the Champions League final, baby. That's what I'm ready for, man. I
The least likely final, in my
Literally,
opinion.
It would be fun.
What is going on? But like that would make sense. It would make sense if somehow Dortmund and Bayern, the two teams that everyone's like counting out, somehow make it to the final. And what a banger of a final that would be.
And the Euros are in Germany this year. Maybe it'd be a foreshadowing of something.
God damn.
It'd be crazy.
Leverkusen wins the
Leverkusen wins the Europa League. Oh
we
my
go to
God.
Germany.
German power
tremendous.
this year.
You guys aren't coming back.
No.
Let's look at the other matchup then. We have Real Madrid facing off against the mighty Bayern Munich. Connor, I went with you first last time, so let me go over to my co-host for this one. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, how are you feeling going into this matchup? Two big names, really exciting to see. I think it's going to be a very entertaining matchup. But as for the scoreline, who's winning it?
I just don't think Bayern Munich's defense can handle any version of Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Jude Bellingham. I really don't. What is it? Eric Dyer, some version of Kim Min-jae, maybe Upamecano. They're good defenders, but the way Madrid played against Manchester City, and Manchester City have a very good defense, they broke them several times. They're going to do the same thing against Bayern Munich. So the question then becomes, can Bayern score as many goals against Real Madrid? And I think the answer is no. You have Harry Kane, who's obviously elite in front of goal. Leroy Sané had actually a really good quarterfinals against Arsenal. I was really impressed with his attack. It was good. But it's nothing new. It's nothing new to Real Madrid's defense. They're going to be fine. Chouameni's the next best center back. He has all of the confidence for Carlo Ancelotti. I just see Madrid as a complete team. The way they bunkered in against Manchester City, and then the way they hit them out on the counter, they can be any team playing like that. Bayern's good, but Madrid's better.
I heard somebody say, or I read somebody like tweet out or something that Real Madrid is the greatest footballing institution in the world. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I just figured, after Messi, Ronaldo left, something would switch up. Maybe we'd have a little bit of turnover. There'd be some more parity. But, I mean, Real Madrid is the truth. They're the truth. And I was forced to admit that. Being a Manchester City guy, I was forced to admit that when I watched those games because they were spectacular. Spectacular. Yeah. I mean, there's no way that you can doubt it. You really can't. They're inevitable. Yeah. And this is I'm a huge fan of the intangibles. I didn't want to start on this side of the bracket when you gave me the ball. Dude, Real Madrid, this is their tournament too. Yeah. It's a lock. It's a lock. I do think that the only team capable of stopping them is Bayern Munich because they also have the Champions League pedigree, but I don't see any way that they make it past.
Yeah, man. I feel like having Tuchel is a big pro. I mean, I know people don't like the brand of football that he plays, but it is good in this type of knockout style football. And I love my boy Harry Kane. I'm really struggling to come up with other reasons why Bayern could pull off the upset here. Because, the smart money take is we're about to get a PSG Real Madrid final.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw the question back out. What is the argument for Bayern in this game? Is it
I don't think you can make one. They're a great team, obviously. They're semifinal caliber for sure. But the fact that they're playing Madrid, I don't think you can really say that Bayern can go through. I don't think you can.
I would just say Madrid going into the matchup too confident, getting too cocky after defeating the best test in Manchester City, and Bayern Munich just taking advantage of that. I think that's one of the factors
the first
that maybe
leg?
The first
it's
one
is in Germany.
It's in Germany.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real. They gotta win.
They have to
Probably by 3 goals.
Yeah.
Going back
to secure it.
To secure it, man.
To feel somewhat good, 2 goals, 1 goal is not enough.
No,
not enough. But to kind of go back to the point I was trying to make was that mental obstacle they went through facing off against Manchester City. You mentioned how you thought there might be some sort of overlap with Ronaldo leaving and Real Madrid kind of losing their grip on the title after Manchester City won it last year. Mentally overcoming Manchester City, and say what you will about that matchup because we had a lot to say about it. They still overcame it, man. They pulled it off. They defeated the mighty Pep Guardiola Manchester City team that was looking to beat them back-to-back times in the UEFA Champions League.
Yep.
And that just says so much to me about the pedigree, the history, and just the overall confidence that's going to give to this Real Madrid team. I think that to them was their final. And winning it now, they just got to play the level that they can play at consistently. I think the trophy's there truly if they show up the way that we expect them to.
I love that take. I love that take.
Thank you, bro.
They played the final already. That's perfect. Bro, I love it.
Yeah, looking at you the whole time, too. It's kind of fire.
Dude, it was good. It was good. That hit me. Right here.
Entirely too positive. Bro.
Just about to bring us down.
Yeah.
It's like back to the Jamaicans. You're right, though. They played the final, and if they just play consistently, like what a statement. Like if they just play to the caliber that they're capable of, not even their best, they've got it locked up.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They don't have to play their best football. They already kind of did.
Yeah.
So now they're going to be not good against Bayern, but they should be able to beat them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can, and they're so good. They're so good, and Ancelotti has them so in line that they can take their foot off the gas and not absolutely play the game of their lives. They're not going to be mentally, physically exhausted. Probably physically, yes. A few more older guys there, but I mean, you've got the perfect blend of experience and young talent. People like Jude Bellingham and Luka Modric. Dude, Luka Modric, when he came on against Manchester City in the second leg, I was furious because I was like, surely we got this.
Yeah.
Surely Rodri's the best six in the world. I've been saying that forever. Surely we're going to be. I mean, he is, yes. Yeah. Modric was like, you might be the best six in the world. This is my trophy.
Yeah.
This is mine. I'm going to put the headband on and everything. Look, straight out of your 90s nightmare or your early 2000s nightmare. Dude. Yeah, I think they've got it. I'm bullish on Real Madrid.
That's scary then because basically we're saying Madrid's going to win the whole thing then.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to start over here because to me it's not a question anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, their midfield is stacked, man.
It's disgusting.
The wingers are filth as well. Rudiger's been an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, even Carvajal, like, Jesus Christ.
know,
I hate playing
man.
against him, bro. I hate rooting against that guy.
I hate him. What are we going to do when Mbappe goes there? Because it's done.
Yeah.
It's done now. We're just waiting.
Yeah. Going into what we predict will be a Manchester, Jesus Christ. Fucking Real Madrid PSG final. What's the biggest narrative going into that game? Is it regarding Mbappe? Is it regarding Bellingham? Or what is this? Is it just Madrid chasing their 15th UEFA Champions League trophy? What's the biggest narrative for this final that we're setting up?
I'm going to be praying for PSG to win it, for Mbappe to actually pull off what PSG have been trying to do for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I think that's the bigger narrative.
Send-off year?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can PSG just get it? Can they get their hands on the title?
I think the storylines are amazing for this tournament unless Real Madrid win. Because then the narrative, and that sounds very disrespectful to any Madristas, but I don't like Real Madrid, so I'm all right with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'd be like the Warriors winning again. You know, it's getting redundant. It's like, okay, we already know you're a dynasty. We already know that you own this tournament. I guess it's impressive that you've done this again with a fairly young team. But think of the vibes and think of the headlines. If Bayern Munich win, like, I'm going to go back to Harry Kane. Everyone's been trolling this man saying he's cursed. And he wins the Champions League. Dortmund, a team that probably most people in the round of 16 thought were going to lose.
Yeah.
A team that choked away the league. And now they're going to come back and win a Champions League final. Unreal. And PSG, a team that probably the most expensive team ever assembled, couldn't do it, lost in a final. Then they get rid of Neymar and Messi. Mm-hmm. They have a pretty revitalized, a lot of young players in this team, new manager, and they freaking win against Real Madrid. Like, it would be a beautiful thing for the world, unless Real Madrid won again. And then it's kind of like, well, damn, dude, you know?
What's new?
What's new?
But isn't that, in a way, the UEFA Champions League, though? Right? At least over the last 15 years, it's almost there isn't anything new. It just is about royalty. It's about dynasty. So I think Madrid winning again would just make so much sense. But I honestly, I think the only team that could maybe beat them would be PSG, simply because PSG just gets one try. Over 2 legs, I would back Madrid 99 out of 100 times. But since it would be one final, I'd actually give PSG a decent chance.
Mbappe in finals, and I think there's an argument that the best player on the pitch would be on PSG's team.
There we go, yeah.
I think there's a factor there of just 90 minutes, big game moments, who steps up.
Yeah.
Bellingham's only 20 years old, folks. Maybe something happens. I think that's the only way that we could see it happening, but it would be incredible, bro. It'd be incredible to see PSG pull that off. And ultimately, would you guys predict that, or are we going Real Madrid all the way?
I'm going Madrid all the way.
You're like scared?
I'm going Madrid all the way. I wish I wasn't.
I'm a piggyback on that, and I wish I wasn't either.
Yeah.
I think it's Madrid all the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to say something crazy right now?
So far, all of our predictions have been the same.
They've all been the same.
All of them have been the same.
So bad.
Just wait till Copa America. We're gonna have some discussions.
There we go.
If I'm gonna call the upset, I need to see how the semifinal goes before I
Okay, yeah.
I tell you PSG is going to win. I need to see how they take care of Dortmund. If they squeak by on pens, I got no conviction. If they beat them 5-2 on Ag, now we're talking.
Yeah, but what if Dortmund's just shit, you know?
Yeah,
True.
which they could be.
They could be.
They
They definitely could be. They just get caught by Mbappe in a really bad game.
I don't think Real are invincible. Like,
No,
I don't think they are
this is
either.
far from the best team they've ever had. So, especially over one leg, if PSG just shows up, they could do it.
Yeah.
They really could. Dortmund, I mean, good lord. I mean, maybe they could do it too, but they got to have like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
Real Madrid have to have like a 3 out of 10 game. That would be, I think, maybe one of the greatest upsets we've seen since
Dude,
2004.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
It'd be incredible. And that's what I want to happen. Just for anybody watching at home, I would love a
Chaos.
Dortmund win.
That'd
I
be
would love a Dortmund win.
insane,
I
yeah.
objectively dislike all 3 of these other teams. I have more respect for Bayern Munich, I'll say. But.
I don't.
I like this new PSG. I like the current PSG. I like Iganyan. I'd love to see him get something.
Yeah.
And I love Kim and Jae and Harry Kane on Bayern too. But yeah, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Dortmund out of like, again, vibes, dude. Storylines, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Dortmund in a final would be crazy.
Dude, how down? Hold on. How down bad? How down bad is Gio Reyna that he leaves Dortmund on a transfer to Force and they win the Champions League?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, he
I'm
didn't
here
play
for that,
much.
honestly.
No.
Yeah. No Bellingham, and that's when they make it to.
That's when they
Champions
make
League
it.
final.
Yeah, no Holland.
No
Yeah.
Holland. This is the golden generation year. This is when it happens for them. Thing is, you went Madrid. You're going Dortmund. Where are you going?
To win it all?
To win it all right now, without conviction, without knowing the results.
I'm going PSG.
And I'm joining you right there, brother.
Yeah?
I'm going
That's
PSG
what-
as
nice.
well.
All right.
I want it. I want it that bad.
That's
I
what
want
I'm
Mbappe with that silverware. I wanted to win the trophy in front of Madrid fans at Wembley Stadium.
Ooh.
And then go over to join them the year after to continue winning more trophies. I want that narrative, and I'm going to be rooting for it.
Oh, man, I just think Madrid have more killers. That's the only problem, man. Like, if you had to bet on who would pop off more, I'm betting Bellingham, Rodrigo, Vinicius over PSG's front 3. Mbappe, I'd bet on him. But the other 2, You know, I just think that class that Madrid have, the work rate of Valverde, Camavinga too, I think they would outwork even Vitinha. And he's really a good player. So it's just like, I think for Madrid to lose, it'll take a lot. It can be done, though.
I don't think there's a logical perspective here for PSG winning. That's not where I'm getting at. You're right. Yeah. Logically, it's in the cards for Real Madrid. I'm just going to have to go off of football, I don't know, fucking heritage. I don't know where to go with it.
Eddie the
story, Mbappe, hat trick in the final. Sometimes you got to feel it on this one.
I mean, didn't you have a feeling when Liverpool played Madrid?
Yeah, but that was rooted in my own bias.
Okay. Yeah.
You talking about when Salah went down?
Yes. Multiple times. What you want to talk about, bro?
Oh, man. Hey. That was brutal. I was even going for Liverpool then.
Oh, dude, me too. When Salah went down, I was also for Egypt. For Egypt that year, I was like, oh my God, like the worst timing.
Worst timing.
Yes.